With the DJI Air 2S having recently launched with a number of specifications even better than the reigning king of drones, the Mavic 2 Pro, speculation, rumours and leaks have surfaced regarding its apparent replacement, the Mavic 3. So to share with you what we know and discuss what we want, don't go away. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel where we review tech related to making YouTube videos and other gear rumours and breaking news just like this one. So if you're liking this content, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. And seriously, and in response to recent feedback, timestamps are in the description below if you're in a bit of a hurry. So, news of a Mavic 3 drone is, well, nothing new. There's been talk about it for well over a year, but the recent release of the DJI Air 2S featuring a number of specifications that blow the reigning king of the crop, the Mavic 2 Pro, out of the water, attention has turned to what will replace it. Now yes, the Air 2S is superior in a number of aspects, but DJI have left themselves some wiggle room to improve on that and create a super drone, the Mavic 3. Or will that be Mavic 3 Pro or just Pro 3 or whatever, who knows. So in this video, I want to summarize what we know and talk about what we would like in the Mavic 3 and what's most likely. First of all, what do we know? Well, compared to leaks associated with other DJI products of late, we don't actually know much at all. There are fragments of information out there that people are putting together and coming up with some educated guesses, but as of yet, there's no photos of labels, of retail boxes, of specification pages from manuals or anything like that. But let's cover what is out there and whether it's credible or not. The Drone DJ website has published what it says are tidbits of information from an inside informant. I'll put a link in the description below to that article. And they've shared a couple of interesting quotes and texts from this insider. First of all, they've said that it will be capable of capturing 8K video, which kind of makes sense. I mean, the Autel Evo 2 Pro is already capable of shooting 6K, and also given that the Air 2S can shoot 5.4K, there's no way the Mavic 3 Pro would be released with just 4K or even 5.4K equivalent. So putting the Mavic 3 out there capable of shooting 8K at 30 frames a second seems entirely plausible. The insider also hinted that this drone wouldn't come cheap, and hey, we would expect nothing less given the Pro line has always been the best of the best in the consumer or prosumer class, and we definitely end up paying for it. Plus, they're going to stack this thing with features that will future-proof it for at least a couple of years, and so guess what? We're going to pay for it. The insider apparently texted this. Now in terms of timing, this person in the know also said that all going well, they were looking at a September release. Now yet another DJI insider has apparently leaked to the Drone XL website, a drawing that is supposed to offer the first peek at the Mavic 3 design. Now when we take a closer look at the sketch, we immediately see the resemblance to a number of the previous Mavic models, such as the 2 Pro, the Air and the Air 2S. There are some notes that say the upward sensors are placed at the front, not at the back, but I don't know about you, but all I see are what looks like front sensors, with the Drone XL website speculating the reason for that is that DJI needs more room for the new battery, which will be a Phantom 4 style battery, which is said to be clicked inside the back of the DJI Mavic 3. The battery won't be inserted from the top like we're used to from the DJI Mavic 2 Pro and Zoom. Now interestingly, this does line up with some other sketches I have that I'll share shortly, so make sure you stick around for that because they are very interesting. But as far as this particular drawing, they go on to say that the front has a Mavic Air 2 design, but with a bigger camera. So how much credence can we put in this one? Well, I think the sketch has been out for a while myself, definitely pre-Air 2S, which is why they're referencing the Air 2 so much. So it's hard to say. Now before we move on to the next one, it is worth noting that this insider said he thinks we might not be seeing a Mavic 3 until 2022. And why is that? Well, they say that the Mavic 3 has only just entered its testing phase, and depending on how that goes and what adjustments need to be made, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. And so plenty to get us all wondering, right? And that's before we get to the Tech Radar website. Now they've also talked about the possibility of a Mavic 3 drone becoming the first consumer drone capable of shooting 8K video. They do note that it's based on Mavic 3 prototypes being tested by DJI, so it's far from certain that this will find its way into the final version. Still, they go on to reason, given the mid-range Air 2S recently arrived with 5.4K video powers, the move to 8K for DJI's Pro line would certainly make sense in theory and bring some exciting possibilities. Plus, as I said earlier, given its high-end rivals like the Autel Evo 2 Pro already boast 6K video capabilities, it seems likely that DJI would look to set a new benchmark for premium level drones with the Mavic 3 Pro. And should DJI's next flagship arrive with 8K shooting abilities, it could represent an excellent option for professional aerial videographers looking to boost the quality of their footage. Currently, there are no consumer drones capable of shooting video at such a high resolution, with the latest top-end mirrorless cameras like the Canon EOS R5 only recently benefiting from that particular feature. Now that said, a DJI Mavic 3 Pro would need to significantly upgrade the Mavic 2 Pro's 1-inch sensor to maintain decent image quality at that resolution. Right now, there's no rumours about what sensor the drone might use, but a 4/3 chip could be a possibility within the size constraints of the series. And in late March, we saw on the Deals Drone Twitter account the release of 3 drawings, just with the description of Mavic 3. There was no explanation of where these images came from or any analysis of them. However, the watermarks relate to a WeChat account, and the lettering in the centre of the image means Aerial Family. Not sure if that relates to a WeChat account, a website, a blog, not sure. However, onto the images themselves, and this one in particular bears a very close resemblance to the sketch shown earlier as reported by Drone XL, but without the camera included. Another one of the images clearly shows a cavity at the rear of the design for a battery, adding some credence to the claim of a Phantom 4 style battery that is inserted from the rear. So that brings us to what we want in a Mavic 3. Bear in mind DJI have to keep a relative gap between the Mavic 3 and the next best in their lineup, which arguably would be the latest drone, the Air 2S. They did leave themselves some wiggle room, so in no particular order, these are the features I'm hearing requested from you, and I've added mine as well. First up, lens features. Either a removable or, in camera speak, interchangeable lens, giving people the opportunity to swap out lenses of different focal lengths. However, in my view, that introduces a lot of faffing about, and it's not like anyone's complaining with the images currently coming out of the top-end drones. I think they need to keep it simple, so I don't think they'll do interchangeable lenses, but DJI have a habit of surprising us. Also on the lens, some sort of adjustable aperture like there is on the Mavic 2 Pro. Now this is much more likely as DJI didn't include one on their latest drone, the Air 2S, and the most likely reason is so there could still be a gap between their top end and the next level down. This is also the reason I think why DJI included a set of ND filters with the Air 2S as a kind of peace offering for those who are moving from the Mavic 2 Pro to the 2S. And if they really wanted to go the whole hog, they could add a zoom function like on the Mavic 2 Zoom. So all of that in one package, adjustable aperture, zoom, would be pretty amazing. As for sensor size, well, they either go with the 1-inch sensor they've put in the Air 2S, which is actually fantastic on a drone, or if they really want to take it to the next level, make it hard and costly for the competition to keep up with them, and future-proof the Mavic 3 for the next couple of years, then they really have to consider adding a micro 4/3 sensor. Personally, I think we're just getting a little bit silly if we go there, but hey, people constantly want more and better and newer, so unfortunately DJI have to play to that. Next would be vision or obstacle avoidance sensors, and on this one they have really only left themselves one option and take what they've done with the Air 2S, which is front, back, top and bottom, and add side sensors as well. The Mavic 2 Pro has them on the side but lacks them on the top, whereas the 2S has them on the top but not the sides. Now with the competition pushing DJI really hard and looking to try to outdo them wherever they can, I don't think DJI have any other option but to have sensors on every outward facing surface. As for the price, well, yep, this is not going to be cheap. And look, it doesn't have to be. You pack that many features in, then you have to be prepared to pay for it. But it does establish a clear hierarchy as well. If you have the entry-level mini series at around $500 US, the next level up to is like a prosumer drone in the Air 2S at around $1,000, and then they're all singing, all dancing Mavic 3 with all the bells and whistles at $2,000. So what should you do? Now that there's growing anticipation around the Mavic 3, there's now the dilemma that some people are facing. Buy something like the Air 2S now, or wait to see what the Mavic 3 has to offer. Now, again, that's entirely up to you and you have to make your own call based on your needs and wants. The upshot is the Air 2S is a pretty amazing drone. And for most people, it'll be more than good enough for many years to come. However, if you're a professional who earns their living by selling top-notch photo and video content, you'll probably want to wait for the Mavic 3. But for you, it's a tax write-off anyway and you can probably afford it. But again, just because you can, doesn't mean you should. You can get amazing results with the current crop of drones on the market. So, dare I say it, do we even need the Mavic 3? Again, in terms of timing, in my view, DJI are getting pushed really hard by competitors. So as much as I think that they would like to push the launch of this out further in order to give the Air 2S some breathing space, I suspect it'll be September this year. The The Mavic 2 Pro came out at the end of August 2018, so the timing feels about right. If you're like a lot of people and are dead keen to jump into the drone market and a sport for choice, or you've already got a drone and you feel like you've just got to upgrade but not sure what to, I've got a couple of videos that'll definitely help you out. First up, the new Air 2S compared to the budget-friendly DJI Mini 2, and also the Air 2S versus its immediate predecessor, the Mavic Air 2. So if you need to make up your mind, those will definitely help. So check them out and I'll see you over there. Cheers guys.